Hello, everybody. Hey, Divas Chicas, how y'all doing? Alrighty, good morning, good morning. I hope that you're all having a wonderful Friday. All right, so you already saw the title of the video. Today, we're doing a little bit different. As you can see, we have some gameplay in the background, but this is actually going to be a review on the Fortnite Lawless season. All right, so the way this is going to work is we are going to take it by topic, and there's quite a few. I think I have like there's about eight little topics that I have, and we're gonna rank them. All right, each topic is gonna get a ranking of 1 out of 5 or 1 through 5, and then at the very end I will give my ranking on this season in general. So if you have not been keeping up with Fortnite, or if you did not play the last season, which ended literally yesterday when you watch this, it ended on May 1st. It was called Lawless, and it was really fun. It was really cool. Now, let's start with one thing. All right, chapter like going from chapter 5 to chapter 6, brand new map, brand new POIs. You know, that's always peak. At least in some contexts, sometimes the first season isn't that great to most people, but I've always had fun with first seasons. They don't seem to be that much of an issue at all. But yes, I think that chapter 6 season 1, Hunters, had a very, very good map. It was fun, it was new, it was very vibrant. We kind of went back a little bit in the sense that Fortnite has gotten really realistic recently. Fortnite has just kind of gone that direction, and I'm so happy that now we're getting, you know, some type of fantasy type things with the Night Shift Forest, and the later in the Lawless season, which we'll get to, the Mortal Kombat stuff. Like, it really did change the terrain, and I enjoy that. Just a preface. So first things first, the theme and the setting. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5. It wasn't the best, but it was nowhere near the worst. Okay, the theme being criminal enterprise, doing heists, Midas's return, which I'm glad that he wasn't like a main focus, because obviously there is a sense of Midas fatigue that I've seen a lot of people kind of talk about, and I personally don't have that. I love whenever Midas shows up, but I also understand that not everyone's like me, and some people may think that they use him too much. So I'm just glad that even the people who I've seen complain that Midas comes back a lot, even they seemed to be happy that he wasn't the main focus. Now, with that being said, the Western and outlaw aesthetic was really, really nice. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was so cool. I think the whole premise of doing heists is always a fun thing, and they've done it a few times throughout Fortnite's history. So it was nice to see a semi-fresher take on doing a heist. I love the armored vehicle that went around. That was really good. And I also just really loved the banks, that there was a few of them and it wasn't just like one bank, you know. I think that was really, really cool. So in comparison to past seasons, I would say that it does have some callbacks to like the heist season from chapter 4, the original heist season from chapter 2. Like, it did have some similarities, but I think that it did have some really good things to stand out, such as like the characters really made it be different, because it wasn't like just Ghost and Shadow again. You know, that's really fun. I think another thing that made it stand out was just the vibe and aesthetic of the places, of the POIs, which we will get to. And yeah, I think that in general, the theme and the setting get a 3 out of 5. So next, we have new locations. So as you can see, I'm throwing up on the screen a map of Hunters, and now I'm gonna throw up a map of Lawless. So as you can see, we lost Twinkle Terrace, Lost Lake, Night Shift Forest, Warriors Watch, and Bird, with the new POIs being Lone Wolf Lair, Shiny Shafts, Outlaw Oasis, and Crime City. Now, these new POIs were really fun, in my opinion. All right, I loved Crime City. I think it was a bit small for a city. I think Seaport felt more like a city, and it's because of the height. But at the same time, I did really like that it was kind of more sort of underground. Like there was a lot of buildings that went down instead of going up. And I thought that was really cool. Another thing that I really enjoyed was the Outlaw Oasis. I love that if I was ever over there, all I had to do was get in one of those geysers and I'd be set to like rotate across the map if need be. Shiny Shafts was one of the few places that I didn't really go. I did go a few times and I did love the hidden little vault that was there. But apart from that, it wasn't something that I really gravitated towards. And Lone Wolf Lair was a very nice mansion. It reminded me a lot of Oscar's mansion from Chapter 5, Season 1. And I think that apart from just the similarities of it being a mansion, I think it was different enough and cool enough that it was a very refreshing take on it. I love the gold brick road, the gold fountain. Oh, that's another thing. That mechanic of the gold rush, adored that. That was so fun. I really hope they bring that back. Just like swiping your pickaxe really, really fast and breaking shit. That was so cool. For new locations, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because I really enjoyed the the new locations. I do think that the old locations were nice. Don't get me wrong. I loved Night Shift Forest and I loved Twinkle Terrace, but I do think that Crime City, Outlaw Oasis, and Lone Wolf Lair made up for the lack of those other ones. I think that they changed the flow of matches a lot too, because obviously when a new POI comes out, everybody starts dropping there. You already know. But I can safely say, even to like, I'm playing this on the day before it ends and people are still landing at Crime City because it's decent. It's a really good drop spot, you know? And I very much enjoyed that. I do think that it changed up the flow of where people landed consistently and thoroughly, and I very much enjoyed that. Alrighty, so section 3, new weapons and items. So for the new weapons, we had the combat kits for the oh my goodness, the Mortal Kombat collab. We had a few, like we had the pump and dump. We had the we had a lot of unvaults this season as well. We had that like twin mag assault rifle. They brought back the suitcases, the suitcase turrets. So that was very cool. For weapons and items of this season, I am going to say that it is about a 3 out of 5. It wasn't the best. I will say I did love the kneecapper. I think it was really cool. I loved the combat kits, but at the same time, the Scorpion combat kit just felt like Hades chain with a few more things added in, and that was fine. But I do think that the Hades chain was more powerful, and I do think that it was just slightly better. But yeah, so that's why that gets a 3 out of 5. Next section, the battle pass. All right, for this battle pass, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I liked it, but it wasn't the best. All right, the 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 collab being Mortal Kombat, the collab skin being Sub-Zero till the other members of Mortal Kombat started coming into the shop. That was great. I love the skin. I love that it was, Mortal Kombat themed. I think it was really cool. I just don't think it really fit in with the season. Mortal Kombat is just one of those games where I just feel like Mortal Kombat didn't really fit the outlaw Western aesthetic. And that was kind of like a little disconnect that kept happening. Apart from that, the POIs that came with the Mortal Kombat characters were really fun and really refreshing. The bridge, like right next to the Shining Span, became like this pit of spikes from the games. We had the forest, we had the sewer. Like it was nice. It was really cool. But I do think that it really kind of did disconnect from the season. And I think that it's a great collab. And if it was in the previous season, it would have been perfect. But I think that it being in this season kind of brought it down just ever so slightly. Apart from that, I did love that we got the Mortal Kombat skins of Kitana, Raiden, and Scorpion. I think that was great. I loved all the emotes. I loved the skins. I loved the locations. I think it was great. The Outlaw Midas, great skin. The battle pass itself, I feel like at first I felt like they were going to run Big Dill into the ground with how much they were advertising him. But I honestly enjoyed it. I think Big Dill like actually became one of my favorite meme skins. And it does feel like he is this world's version of Peely. We did not get a Peely. So, it's always interesting to see what the meme skin is if they don't do it like a Slurp variant or a Peely variant. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, so apart from that, in the battle pass, there was a few new characters. Well, mostly new characters. They had the Baron. He was cool. I did enjoy his aesthetic. There was the girl. I keep forgetting her name, but she looks like Zoro, and that's like her thing. Very much enjoyed her. But yeah, so that was fun. I think the battle pass is a 4 out of 5. It wasn't bad by any means, but I do think that last battle pass was just so peak, man. Godzilla, Hope, all that stuff. It was great. So, number 5, the heist mechanics and quests. For this, I'm gonna give it another 4 out of 5 because this season's heists were so fun. Breaking into the bank, having the drill to like advance the like breaking into the vault faster, but you still have to watch out your back, like watch your back for the goons and stuff, and the henchmen. I thought that was so fun. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Me and my friends had a bunch of fun with that. Another thing was the quests. So we had that key card quests that would unlock better loot and better black market items. That was so much fun. I think that was very much needed because it really gave the heists some level of gravity. It gave gravity to the heist. It gave them more impact. It made you want to do it, so we would get more key cards and get better stuff. With that being said, I also do think that the heists were not impactful enough. Okay, now don't get me wrong, I do think they were impactful. I think that it was great that we got more stuff in general, but I think that in the trailer they were always throwing this bag everywhere, and I went into the season thinking that bag was going to be like a mechanic, so that like you have to take it somewhere, but there wasn't really anything like that. I will say the closest thing we got to that was in the LTM, which we'll get into. Actually, no, we'll loop that in with like season stuff and all that shit. But the LTM where we had to get the Diamond Llama, that was a very fun LTM. I think that was very cool. I loved the fact that it was you were taking it and you had to get to a getaway van. That was so much fun. That felt more like the trailer for the season than the heist mechanic did. And even though that's the case, I still had fun. I don't think it was bad at all. But yeah, so that's why that gets a 4 out of 5. Number 6, new vehicles. So we got a lot of new vehicle skins in the shop. I'm not really gonna rate those because those are gonna come back, obvi. But we also had the like actual armored truck go everywhere, and there was like that little bike behind it. So happy that they brought back the dirt bike at the end of the season. It was just those more high-tech bikes. They weren't bad, but they weren't as fun. I just love the dirt bikes because you could do so many tricks on them, and it just feels really fun and freeing to play on them. But yeah, I think that the armored vehicle was great. I think that the bringing of the bikes, the cars, the like how many cars there were on the map, I think that was great as well. I don't think there was too many. I don't think there was too little. But yeah, I think that was pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. The story and the lore. All right, I love the story and the lore of Fortnite. I love it so much. It's one of my like top things that I love looking at every season. But I have to be honest. All right, I have to be a bit mean here. The story was like a 2.5, a 3 out of 5, because I feel like at the beginning, great. At the beginning, it was like, okay, I can see that Daigo and his like Jade got trapped. Daigo's trying to get her. Kendo and Hope are having this low key thing. Jonesy is here, and he's finally like he seemed a bit more rested, if that made sense. But as the season kept going, it became harder to follow this story, to the point where I just saw the new story trailer where it shows Daigo's corrupted form, and I was like, "How do we get here? What?" And I saw like just random parts in I think you can maybe see it in a couple videos of mine. I don't know if I recorded them, but there would be times where I would go and I would find a walkie-talkie later in the season, and it would just have the Baron talking about working with Daigo, and I'm like, when did that happen? You know? So for that, I think it was a bit harder to follow the story, and that's why it gets about a 2.5 to a 3. But I will say I want to enjoy this story because I do think that the story isn't as bad as people are saying, and I want to enjoy it. I just need someone to summarize it for me because I can't find it. I can't find all of it. I'm gonna probably check out top fives, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. Next, we have the gameplay meta. All right. For the gameplay meta, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't the worst. I feel like Wrecked was worse in the meta, but I still had fun in that season. But this meta was very much, at first it was a lot of kneecappers, then it was a lot of Sub-Zero kits, and then it was a bunch of shotguns. The pump and dump became very used, at least from what I saw. But yeah, I think the meta was fine. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it was nowhere near the worst, and I think it was decent, in my opinion. And then lastly, the last thing that I put on here was vibes and feelings. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I think that the vibe, the overall vibe of the season, the overall feeling of the season was very energetic. I think it was very fun. I loved, the black market concept. Skillet was a cute skin, and I'm so happy that he's a character now. Seeing Brutus, seeing Midas, seeing all these newer weapons, or like unvaulted weapons, I should say, come back to the game was very fun. I am so glad that hit scan is back. I'm not gonna lie. I was in the camp of, oh my god, bullet drop isn't that bad. But now having hit scan back, it allows for so many old weapons to come back, and I think it's just better that way. But yeah, so overall vibe and feeling 4 out of 5. Overall rating for this season, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. A 3.5. 3.5 out of 5. Because there was good stuff in it, but again, there was like that disconnect. The story was hard to follow. Some characters just weren't really fleshed out, I feel. But yes, I think that in general, this season was a 3.5. I can't wait to see how the Star Wars season goes. I am so hyped for that, and you will catch me in actually today when you're watching this. I will be playing because I will be getting that free loading screen, which, if you don't know, there is a Star Wars loading screen that you can get for free if you go to the Disney Fortnite Island and watch the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Underworld, Tales from the Underworld, or whatever it's called. The Asajj Ventress show. Love Asajj Ventress. I hope she comes to the game, man. I hope she comes to the game. Oh, but yes. With that being said, though, everybody, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you are watching this, and I will see you on Monday with our new Valley visit. All right, everybody, have a good one. Bye.